Welcome back, guys, to Grimerica Outlawed. Not really a roundup, but sort of roundup format. We're doing our Esoteric Fringe Science Edition Part 2. I can't remember. I should have figured out what episode number one was, but it should be fairly easy. I will figure it out. At some point.
Not that they're connected, really. I mean, obviously there won't be the same content, but this is kind of like I've got an abundance of the stuff that I save up that I think would be fascinating to talk to you about it, and so I thought let's just do one of these. Now it's our first stream of the new year. Some of it is applicable to like this year and predictions for 2025. So should be interesting.
I'm looking now. It must have been a while ago, huh?
So I've been sort of collating all the stuff that I've been keeping. Should I record a backup of this? Every time I try and record a backup, my mixer crashes. So I think we'll be good, eh?
Yeah, you better not. It'll probably crash. So the other one was episode 337, October
337. Okay. All right. So I've been collating all this stuff and honestly trying to sort of categorize it, think about how we can talk about it. And I've got a lot of like disclosure clips type stuff, and I feel like after it might even change your mind after watching sort of the first 20 minutes or so of this, it's a lot of sort of official sort of acknowledgement of, UFOs, UAPs, non-human intelligence, like all that kind of stuff. And there's lots been going on. I mean, I can't even keep up with the latest on the psyops that are happening with the drones seem to die down, yet there's things happening in the background that are still referencing it. Have you heard about all that stuff with the Tesla truck bomber?
I did see the Tesla truck bomber. Yeah, I did see that. And
the weird thing about the drones, about anti-gravitic, well, they call it gravitic. I don't know why it's not anti-gravitic, but they're calling it gravitic technology that China and the US have, right? That China's been like, they can easily just send their shit offshore to us.
Didn't the truck bomber say he was from knew about some anti-gravity something or gave some coordinates?
Yeah.
And then the drones, but then there's been a bunch of terrorist shit going on too, hasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy week.
It's been a crazy week, yeah. And then there's people like that are saying that's all the psyop and that's not even real, right? Because like his email is, and he was on a reality show with this Tim Kennedy guy. I mean, it does go deep. They were all three of them were at Fort Bragg apparently. So, I just don't believe any of it yet. I mean, until it kind of shakes out a little bit. I just try and keep an open mind to all this stuff and just not. I just can't believe anything. That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. Well, I've been there for a while where it's just like I can't even bother because it's just like.
But even on the fun like stuff that seems like it's coming out in our favor for like whatever UFOs, China, like all this stuff, right? And
yeah,
the guy was supposedly that. And then you hear another side of him that like now these new things came out from the FBI apparently that he's like a Trump supporter and all that. So now you're like, well, now do we believe that over the other thing? I mean, it's like Brenda says in the chats, look over here. It all feels like a distraction.
For what?
For what though? Exactly. What is it? What are we being distracted from?
Well, I mean, the Canadian media is a buzz right now that Trudeau might resign. Like
really
before Wednesday. It seems like his entire party has turned on him at this point.
Before Wednesday, so it's Saturday. So did you say the date on the front of this? January 4th?
I didn't say the date because it's not an official roundup. It seems like
right, yeah, but it's being recorded on January 4th, our first live stream of the year. And so it's Saturday, and you're saying that he might be out of there by Wednesday. So
apparently, the Liberals have said the party that he's part of have given him that sort of ultimatum that if he doesn't do it himself by Wednesday, they're having a caucus meeting that may result in a leadership vote.
It does we'll see. It just feels weird because like if you had any self-awareness at all, if you didn't have another agenda, I guess as well.
I just want to see the election happen before a fucking slug meat gets his pension. That's really all. That's my what I'd really like to see at this point.
Yeah.
Be pretty funny because that's $2 million. You know, that's like 30 cents from me. I don't
And
want to
like
give that.
and like Brenda says, what girl's gonna take his place? I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't matter who takes his place, really. I mean, even I don't even trust Polivier or Pierre at all either. You
It'll
know?
be Kearney or Freeland
Yeah.
who's going to take his place.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I mean. I think he's just pushing forward an agenda, same as the UK, same as the deep state in the states. I would say that's falling apart. I mean, it's going to be such an interesting year because people have had enough of it.
Canada's no more ready for a female leader than the States. I mean, we had one once. He lasted like 4 months and drove the party into the ground. They went into the next election. They only got 2 seats out of 338.
I forgot all about that.
She didn't get voted for technically. She just sort of took over the job. Sort of what's going to happen here next. I mean, the exact thing could almost happen with where Freeland takes over the party, takes it into election, and then they're going to get fucking smoked. I mean,
I mean,
the opposition party is going to be a separatist party from Quebec.
Who would, in their right mind, would want to take this over? I mean, really, who would even? I mean, I can't imagine who would want this dumpster fire.
I wouldn't mind getting in there, just burning the thing down. I mean, self-destruct.
Just let it go.
Just
let it go. Don't even do anything. Just let it go on its own, like momentum. Just
fire everybody. You know, cut the taxes. Cut the budget's done.
Then what's going to replace it? I mean, I don't know. In this world that we are,
who am I to decide? Who am I to have the arrogance to think that I have any right to decide what replaces it? We just let her fucking tumble, man, and we just see what comes up.
Yeah.
See what comes up. I mean, the people, I mean, I can tell you what's going to come up. Mass starvation. But, I mean, after that, it might be all right.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, because I think that's just the way it goes when the existing system topples. There's no smooth transition.
Yeah, that's true. So, good point. So do you want to discuss anything else? Do you want to mention like our CBD shop or anything like that?
Oh, we should. Yeah, GramAmericaCBD.com. If you guys want to get some CBDs, we got all sorts of them. I don't have the website ready to go. Graham's probably pulling it up now, but we got a couple of drops you can take, like tinctures and some gummies. And we're hoping to get maybe some bombs going pretty soon. So yeah, we got CBD. I mean, the gummies are 5 milligrams of THC in there. So you lightweights probably catch a buzz off a couple of them.
So there's the Stone Spirit gummies and the Dream Bean gummies. So
yeah, which are 5 milligrams of THC and 100 milligrams of CBD.
Yeah. I mean, we all know the benefits of CBD. I mean, I had to go. Do you remember back in the day when we started the show that I had to go to Europe for CBD? I was trying to get Maria to try CBD for her chronic issues. Do you remember that? I actually got some from Europe. I mean, we've come a long ways in the States and Canada. I mean, not Canada because we can't get this in Canada, but
well, we could easily get variations of it in Canada.
Yeah.
We just our main market is the States. Our main audience is the States. So it was, if we're gonna sell CBDs, that's where it makes sense to sell them.
Yeah. So I mean, my
thing is, this shit's illegal in a bunch of states, but I think you'd still just order it. Who cares? Yeah. There's some gummies for you.
Well, I mean, and most of it is not sort of psychoactive. It's just CBD.
I mean, I will warn you that those 5 milligram gummies will fuck you up if you take 3 or 4 of them, and you're not like
you're not.
I mean, if my wife took one of them, she'd be fucked. She'd be fucking gone, man.
So, I mean, what I was thinking is what our ideal situation would be people that are using the stuff regularly, CBD tinctures or gummies. I mean, try them out. And if we can get you to replace your supplier or with this on a regular basis, then it really helps the show. It really helps us out. Helps us get one step closer to Darren joining me in the working from home business.
Yeah, head over there. And if, like I say, if you're using the stuff, we've been thinking about using it, you can now do that and support us in the process. We partnered with True Hemp Science and made our own line of products here. So
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, and hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
Try it out, and tell your friends if they're into it. A lot of you might not be into it, but maybe you know somebody who's doing it. So send them the link.
Yeah, for sure. Should we talk about anything else now, or should I just jump into it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we got a bunch of audiobooks, but everyone, these fucks always know. They know about all that by now. This is sign up for Plus. I mean, that would be the great thing. We would like to try and double our Plus supporters at least this year, and we don't have a lot. It's like 300 of you, so 350 is or something like that. We'd like to see that number times by 2. Let's try and get up over 500, up to 700 plus members by the end of the thing, and Graham will shave his head. So
I got a huge pimple coming through right now. It was hurting me today. I was like, what is that bruise? Like, I have a bruise on my head, and it's a massive pimple. You want me to shave my head? Dude, it's not 1994. That was the last time I shaved my head.
I can't shave my head.
1995.
I did look okay with the bald app, but only I don't have my beard now. I think I need the beard if I'm going to be bald. So anyway,
Thanks
I
for
probably won't shave his head. It might not grow back. He's too far into the game to be shaving his head. This is a bad idea for either of us to shave our heads. But I don't know. We'll do something else. We'll do a call-in show.
I think I'm just gonna get stuck with this balding pattern for the rest of my life. Like, I think my dad,
it gets bigger and bigger and bigger till it takes over. Plumber shit is fucking out of control.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna just stay like this for forever. Where I'll have a bit of hair there, and I'll have a little bald patch on the back and the receding hairline, but it'll be there. Like, there's not enough to shave it necessarily.
That's
like
cute.
my dad.
That's cute. You think it's gonna stick around much longer?
I'm just going with my dad's pattern,
I predict by the time you hit 60, you got a full on. You got the skullet.
It's only 6 years away. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, God damn.
Crazy, eh? To think that.
Pretty soon we'll be fucking begging for your retirement.
Retirement donations.
Anyway.
Well, Canada's not going to be able to support me.
No, there's no.
But I'll get from Canada $500 a month, I think.
So, people can support us if they want to give us a little extra at grimerica.ca/support. But like I say, this show, the best thing to do is to sign up for Plus.
Have you been following this ancient civilization thing in the U.S. government at all? Did you hear about that? So Anna Paulina Luna, I think she's the one that's been doing the UAP stuff too. She says, I think I'm going to start the Ancient Civilizations and Archaeology Caucus. No, need more nerds in my circle. So much history. So, of course, like guys like Jimmy Corsetti and all that. And this we need fire. Ancient history has been hijacked by woke academia and was far older and advanced than we were led to believe. The pyramids are not tombs. Atlantis existed. A cataclysm reset human civilization and man-made climate change. Is the least of our problems. Of course, my ex always ends right at that good point. Make archaeology great again. So yeah, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Everything is kind of opening up. Everything's percolating. 2025 is going to be on fire, man.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So let's go back to 1999.
Double the subscribers. That's
ready? This is 1999. Interview from 1999.
The opportunity over the years to interview again people who have worked at the test site at Groom Lake. One gentleman spent 12 of his 30 years in black programs at Groom Lake. When I asked him, I said, first of all, do you believe in UFOs? And he looked at me with a straight face in one-on-one. He said, absolutely, positively, they do exist. So can you expand upon that? And he said, no, I can't. About a year later, we were talking about, again, activities at Groom Lake. And I asked him, I said, can you really tell me what's happening out there? And he said, well, there's a lot of things that are going on there that I won't be able to tell you until the year 2025. But we have things in the Nevada desert that would make George Lucas envious.
George Lucas envious of the things they have in Area 51. I love it. What?
Dude sold the rights for Star Wars for $4 billion.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. And they just drove it into the ground. I mean, it's probably worth half that now.
Who cares?
Yeah.
$4 billion. I'm done, son. Everyone I know is
4,000
done.
million.
Everybody I know is done. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
everybody.
You know, manifest me $1 billion, and I will literally give you if you know me, you're good for $1 million.
So
I only know a couple hundred people. I still have 800 million left over. You know?
So this is from Paul's Corner 21. In 1999, Area 51 workers said, in 2025, you will find out. Well, it's been a good start to the year so far. And then Robert Seffer, who I'm trying to get on the show. He won't answer my. It's getting pretty frustrating, actually. Like trying to book guests. Some guests say they'll come on, then they flake out, and some just you can't get a hold of. It's like a new, I don't know. It's like it's even harder than it was in 2013. And in some ways, you know, of course, there's other people wanting to get on the show all the time. There's always people trying to get on the show, but the people that I really want to have on at that time, it's hard to do it. He was saying it's been long suspected that German secret societies had more than a passing interest in the occult and UFOs, with many German scientists imported to us after the war. Yeah, I've got something else on that later if we get to it.
Project.
Yeah. So this is 1996, going back, staying in the 90s for a bit. Army Sergeant's letter to Linda Moulton Howe. You remember her, Darren, when we first started the show?
We met her.
We met her at the conference.
She's a psycho.
Claimed full alien contact in 2025. This is this letter for one of these letters. Remember, she had people coming to her all the time, these army people. So it talks about like these artifacts given to Art Bell. So it brings in Art Bell to this whole thing. I'm just going to focus on the bottom part here that's in red. They were talking about these probe ships that were constructed with the same metallic base that we have. Why did they say that? And as a protective measure and a security safeguard, but there was a drawback. There was negative consequences that would these probe ships would be vulnerable to radar interference. Was this the one that goes back to 47? There was I had another letter in here from the same day as Roswell. Maybe I'll try and pull it up in a bit. So most of the inter-atmospheric operations occurred in the Western Hemisphere and in the areas of Europe and Asia, with populations consisting of network selectees. This was a term that the aliens used to identify persons destined for contact. Darren, are you a network selectee? I mean, yeah. These contacts were conceived and predestined prior to birth and was scheduled to be accelerated and increased throughout the 3 decades prior to 2000 ACE. So when the network would initiate the transition, so this transition is happening. In what year do you think this transition is going to happen in?
2025.
Transition was a term that meant full contact occurring around the Turan year 2025. All
What's
this
the Turan year 2025. What's the Turan?
That's ours, like terrain. Turan is the Earth, I think. All this information was acquired from the sole surviving alien, apparently.
Huh.
So this is from Jay Anderson. There's an interview with this dude, Christopher Logan. He's got an IQ of 210. So just even that is kind of interesting. I don't know what you want to think about this.
Well, I will say.
Do you believe in aliens?
I've been thinking about smoking
I will
more
say this:
cigars.
the intelligence community, large sectors of it believe in aliens.
Really?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's a big. I mean, they're constantly discussing these things. Yes. And if you look at the global elite, you know, and you wonder, well, I don't want to blame the world banksters for this. That's a conspiracy theory. Then who is pulling all those strings? Okay. Could there be another kind of entity? Aliens, demons, whatever. Could there be something that's pulling their strings that the global banksters know about, right? And they're taking orders from, but they're being totally concealed and hidden from the public. This is a viable hypothesis, and it's one that the intelligence communities don't reject.
It's funny you posed,
which is kind of neither here nor there, because the intelligence communities themselves could be run by aliens, for all we know.
People are going to be laughing when you say that there are alien that
let them laugh, okay? But they won't be able to come up with any supporting argument against what I'm saying. They don't know enough.
Well,
they're ignorant.
It's funny that you mention aliens and demons in the same breath, because I don't particularly believe in aliens. I mean, what do I know? There are a lot of things I don't know about, but I certainly believe that demons exist. Because I'm pretty confident that demons exist. I'm less confident that aliens exist.
Well, but the thing is, a lot of people are reporting that they're seeing these UFOs and
The tic-tac.
other strange alien suggestive phenomena.
Yeah. So what is something like they call it the tic-tac of these weird UFOs that seem to violate the laws of physics?
Correct. Basically, they look like little blobs of light or spheres that can commit these maneuvers that are totally against the laws of physics as we understand them. Right? They look like they have mass, but somehow they're not subject to inertia. They can turn on a dime on a right angle and continue at the same speed. They can accelerate at a tremendous with tremendous G forces. Okay, how can that happen?
Do you have any theory?
Well, yes, I do. But it's it's fairly involved. Basically, when you reduce the world to telesis, and you understand that reality consists of a merging of mind and matter. It's an interplay, of the two.
It's not just stuff, and it's not just pure abstraction.
It's not. It can be real without necessarily being a completely physical phenomenon. Okay. In other words, there can be a mental component to it. Right. And that is what I think is happening here. I think that there's something to it. The number of people that report UFO incidents is simply too large. People aren't, they're not all liars. They don't run around risking.
This is like what we've been saying since 2013, since the beginning of the show. I love the way this fucking brilliant guy, 210 IQ, is just saying that that's too many people. They're not all liars.
Risking their reputations by saying, okay, I'm going to make a nut out of myself and say, these UFOs exist.
But couldn't they just be nuts?
Well, I suppose they could.
But you're saying there's too many.
I'm saying it's very improbable that they are. I mean, because not that many people are that nutty.
There you go. We're all not that nutty, buddy.
More than you think.
Maybe.
Way more.
I'm not that nutty. I mean, maybe a little nutty, but this is a weird one too. Aliens themselves are not here. They haven't been here. Did an intelligent life form send a probe? Perhaps, but we would know. I trust Elon on this. Oh boy. And SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO. Never. So I'm like, okay, I don't see any evidence of aliens. He reasoned. He says that this lack of evidence leads him to believe that if such an advanced alien civilization existed, they would have made their presence known more concretely. Really, Elon? Yeah. Why am I
Elon? We should mention that Elon is banning people like crazy on X, so it's almost like it's not so free speechy.
So I'm gonna go to Ashton Forbes, who is coming on the show in a couple of weeks. And this is the guy that he was brought up in that Cosmic Summit conference that I was at, in the one room that I chose to go to on that day. Like his name came up in the first three presentations. I mean, Hal Puthoff's been all over the place as far as like extended consciousness and UFOs and all these like remote viewing programs and technology. So he wrote a paper called Ultra Terrestrial Models.
The question is, I hear from a colleague of mine,
Oh, it's the worst
Eric Davis, who
functionality on the volume.
He's now at the Aerospace Corporation, and he had mentioned that I had written a paper. It's not been published, but it's been somewhat circulated on what I call ultra terrestrials. As I said, we're just following the data.
So he's high up there. He says he's just following the data.
And so I've got my colleagues who say, "Oh my God, the aliens are here." I've got Jacques Vallée telling me, "No, it's these are interdimensional, whatever." So I decided to write down all options and put it in a paper called Ultra Terrestrials and circulate it among my colleagues to say we can't overlook anything. We must not come to a conclusion before we've looked at every possibility. So who knows? Maybe they're ETs living here, they got stranded here millennia ago. Or maybe there's some aerospace corporations has put all this stuff together and it's being hidden. Or maybe it's, maybe it's aliens. Or maybe it's, so I listed all possible, or maybe it's just time travelers from the future that happen to be showing up. So I put all of the aspects of what it might be, given that we can't say for sure. And then what are the elements you would look for to find out if this were true, or this were true, or this were true? So this whole idea of, quote, ultra-terrestrials is something that kind of floats around in the community. A great book by Mac Tony, I think is his name, has a title almost like that. So anyway, it was just a circulated think piece to realize, okay, we should quit being reporters.
Okay, yeah, this is the important part here, the kicker. We should quit being now. Who knows how much influence he has on the secret programs and the breakaway civilization stuff? But interesting.
This is Ashton Forbes.
No, this is Hal Puthoff. Ashton Forbes posted it. Yeah. Okay. So this is what he says here. We should stop being reporters and we should actually investigate
and turn into intelligence officers and go out and seek data instead of just being at the passive end, waiting for the government to tell us what, or waiting for the aliens to tell us what, or, whatever. No, we should turn into policemen who are searching for clues and trying to build a case for this possibility, or this possibility, or this possibility. And fleshing out those possibilities, if it's this, well, then maybe there are a lot of corporations involved, so we should be looking into their financial structure. Or maybe it's this. So anyway, it was a circulated paper, which I'm not ready to publish yet.
So, I mean, if he's truthful and people like himself and these organizations are going to start investigating, how is the phenomena going to react to this fresh energy of investigations, a serious investigations, not just, fluffing it all off. So this is what Ashton says about it. I like it because he assesses all non-human intelligence possibilities with a data-driven approach. I'm personally leaning towards breakaway civilization, but there's many options. I thought there was something here. Oh yeah, I like this. Don't assume there's only one breakaway civilization, even if you don't count post-war German scientists in Brazil, which I think he means Argentina. And go back 6,000 years, there could well be more than one group of them. And then there are the Saurian age reptilians and the 200-year-old million insectoid race. This guy talks about John Keel's work and Reza Georgiani's Closer Encounters, which we had on Outlawed a while back. What else was there in here? There was something else in here.
Is that Elon?
Yeah, that's Elon. With the bag. What's in the bag, Elon? Maybe there are corporations involved and we should look into their financial structures. Yeah. Do you really think
we get Elon to come to the Azores?
What's that?
What if we get Elon to come to the Azores?
Right. That would be pretty cool, eh? There's something that I missed in these responses. I'm just trying to find it quickly because he says, I wonder if it's in here.
With all that circled stuff.
No, I don't think so. Now I've lost it. Let's see if I go back here. No, that's these photos about handheld computers and stuff. Oh, here it is. I'm watching your appearance on Candace after watching the video you did on Redacted, and I'm fascinated. You're spot on with your assessment. Look into the Invention Secrecy Act. It was passed in the early 20th century to prevent civilization ending tech from the public. Civilization ending tech from the public. I know all about it. Definitely plays a role. So does the Atomic Secrecy Act and the Mansfield Amendment. So I think that they had this act, this Invention Secrecy Act. Like if it could do any sort of type of fusion or something like that, they could just deem it classified, and just you can't get your patent or whatever. So this is just to sort of expand a little bit on this. This is our friends. This is Hal Puthoff is back again here, but he's with Weinstein, and this is actually fascinating too. And this again from Ashton Forbes.
You have to ask yourself, What Pandora's box would a new physical insight potentially open? The role of aerospace companies as holders of potentially basic scientific knowledge not shared with the academic world. Is it possible? Seems very wrong to me.
Maybe wrong, but it's true.
It is true. You believe it's true.
Yeah, I know it's true.
You know that there's physics knowledge held by aerospace companies that is not
There
known.
certainly is materials knowledge.
So you get what's happening here, right? He's saying like this is like the private corporations and the breakaway that may be supporting the breakaway civilization, right? I mean, this is all happening. Like if you would have said to me, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, like, this is all going to be happening. I don't know if I'd believe it or not. It's pretty mind blowing.
Materials, well, okay,
Because this, I mean, like we talked about with Malcolm and Jordan. I mean, Joe Rogan's like they're mentioning the words cold fusion, which I mean, you really couldn't even say a few years ago. That's being openly publicly talked about now. Eric's here talking about the technology that academia is not allowed to have. That's working in private corporations,
material
Which
science.
involves topological
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you said
physics or whatever.
Okay. But fundamental physics as opposed to, condensed matter or
Right. Certainly aerospace corporations have knowledge in the UAP area that specifically are sequestered against FOIA.
oh,
so. You get that? They can't. Like it protects them from the FOIAs, right? You can't go and ask a company like to give you all this information. So all the FOIAs, the government can just say, oh no, we don't know anything about that because it's outside of the classification system. Like that. Who was it that said don't classify it? If you classify it, it brings it into the system, and then even though it's classified, then it still enables the declassification eventually. So don't even classify it at all. Make it go private.
Because of proprietary
I appreciate that.
labels, which the whole thing was set up to be that way on purpose.
right. But the idea that there would be fundamental physics knowledge that would be housed in an aerospace company and not shared with the physics community, there is no evidence of that.
No evidence for it, not that I know of.
And I wouldn't.
That doesn't mean it's not the case, but
That would be this crazy, egregious.
It would change our entire concept of who we are if somebody kept fundamental physics secret in the years since we became capable of exploding fusion devices. I would grab a pitchfork
Yeah.
and a tiki torch, and I would march on the National Science Foundation.
Oh, I don't know about that, buddy. Not that I don't really trust him either. The obvious reality
You have to ask yourself.
being intimated here. Why does that start going automatically? Is that defense aerospace contractors have been reverse engineering UAP technology? We can assume, as Putov clearly does, that these companies have thereby accrued knowledge of physics that is not available to academics. Let me just see what the rest of that says outside of the program. Huh. So any questions or any comments about that?
But I don't know. That Weinstein's everywhere talking about these UFOs lately and new physics and weird.
I know. Here's unforgivable. He says, I find it hard to believe Weinstein hasn't been told what's going on by insiders, etc., and how the physics works. I think he knows if he shares and talks about the physics, he will be in trouble. Hal may be a legend, but most likely he is also acting as a lightning rod for some claims of free energy devices, safely discharging their claims into the ground. That's a good analogy. Unless, of course, that's how the funding for an inventor starts after the debunking and cover-up. Putov this is Ashton replying, Putov knows free energy is real. I'm 100% certain. And then here's an interesting one here. Oh, look at Malcolm Bendall's in here. So this is from Tim Hack. Actually, he was in that chat. Are you familiar with Hal Putov's involvement into the Sapphire Project, which succeeded in elemental transmutation like Malcolm Bendall and quantum heat did? That's Bob Greenier's handle. You can ask Wichita9, Jonathan David Kynes, about it. He worked on this project and has a very interesting story about his involvement to tell. Yeah, we should look into that one too ourselves. So then I just thought I'd sort of top it off about Ryan Bledsoe, who was a past guest. This is not too long ago, but it's just to give you the feels for what it's like to be out manifesting UFOs and they actually come.
Everybody look this way. That is one straight overhead.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Ryan, I'm getting this all through. Oh my God.
So it's just like a close up of an orb, but I mean, honestly, it's the organic cheering that, like, this is kind of what happens in some of those groups when you're looking for UFOs. The crowd goes wild after orb gets brighter. Now note the timing of it brightening up immediately after I shout at 200 people and get them all looking at it. This is contact.
Which type? Third, first, one? Which contact type?
5.
That is not 5.
Of course it is.
No.
Yeah. That's
5
what
is like
all
face
about.
to face with an alien, man.
What?
5's face to face with an alien.
No, it's not. No, it's making contact, making like intentional contact like that. I don't think it means like physical alien has to be like standing right beside you.
You don't think? Is it a think thing? I'm asking ChatGPT.
Ask ChatGPT. What's the
constitutes a close encounter of the 5th kind. When I was a little younger, that movie came out about the aliens in Nome, Alaska, and that was only the 4th kind.
Yeah, exactly. That was a kind of a weird movie.
Okay, a close encounter of the 5th kind, a CE5. Key elements. This has been hijacked by the CE5 group. All right, here we go. So here we go. A CE1, close encounter of the 1st kind, witnessing an unidentified flying object at a close distance. Close encounter of the 2nd kind, physical evidence left behind, such as burn marks, radar signatures, or crop circles. Close encounter of the 3rd kind, seeing beings associated with the UFO. So I find it hard to believe that we're going backwards from that to just seeing a streaking sky. Close encounter of the 4th kind, abduction or involuntary interaction. And close encounter of the 5th kind is voluntary and proactive communication initiated by humans.
There you go.
I'm not convinced that. I mean, it even says queer gear right up at the top there. I don't know. I think it's been hijacked. I think if you would have checked this 10 or 15 years ago, it would have said a 5th kind is talking to an alien. I mean, how is you just, I meditated a UFO. And this is more than getting abducted. This is a higher class.
It doesn't mean it's on. It doesn't mean it's on.
It's a clear scale. There's a clear scale.
It's not a clear scale.
1 to 4 is a clear
like
scale.
what?
Yeah, no, it is. It's 1 to 4 is a clear scale of level of interaction.
Because abductions were happening back
1
then.
to 4 is very clear progression of interaction with aliens, from just seeing the craft to something left behind, to seeing the being in or outside the UFO, to being abducted by the 5 can't go down. It can't go down from that.
It's not, you're consciously making that communication, right? It's about
you can unconsciously get abducted.
Paul says
Have a bad
Darren
dream.
doesn't get it in the chat.
No, Darren does get it. That's the problem.
So here I missed one in that stream of clips. Here's the other one that I was trying to find. So this is from Steph Kent, the Covertress. If you've had contact with NHI, non-human intelligences, the government knows you did. The CIA knows for a fact that the human race is a mixture of primate and alien DNA, and that certain bloodlines get more augmentation than others. Those bloodlines get surveilled their entire lives for the world's intelligence communities. Interesting, eh? So here's a guy, Michael Fakar, talking about this U.S.
Fokker.
government.
It's Fokker.
This guy, what?
Fokker.
You ready? Oh, it's not working. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it.
I can't hear it either. I wonder why that is.
Did you turn the sound on?
Metal
there
with
you
his
go.
name
I
on.
hear it.
I've known this for a long time, but I never thought I'd ever be able to talk about it. Let's just get to the meat, shall we? This is John Ramirez, who is a former intelligence officer for the Central Intelligence Agency. Here's John showing his career intelligence medal with his name on it and the accompanying certificate signed by then CIA Director Leon Panetta. John Ramirez is the real deal. That said, John, through a legal loophole that releases him from a non-disclosure agreement on a few things, just admitted some stuff that I never thought would become public. He admitted that Google, the same Google that you and I know and use, were given their search technology and the Google Earth functionality by the Central Intelligence Agency in return for Google being the tech company that's going to translate, disseminate, and manage data transfers between extraterrestrials and humans. And here he is in his own words.
There were 3 items on the agenda. One was a historical look back at CIA's relationship with UFOs in general. That's where slide 53 was the McMinnville UFO, the famous one in 1950. And that was briefed as, this is an authentic UFO. And the reason why it's never been successfully debunked is because it is authentic and we know it. Number 2 was hybrids. And number 3 was the future of information technology will explode. We're working with a company to disseminate and allow a dialogue of information like this and other information.
John, is
And
this
that
the
company is
you
Google.
referenced?
Google, because we had a relationship with Google already. We
Is that-
provided them with Earth Viewer, which became Google Earth, and we provided them with search tools, which became Google Search.
Furthermore, he talked about the underground facilities in St. Louis, talked about his visits to Area 51, and admitted that the CIA knows for a fact that the human race is a mix of primate and alien DNA, and that certain bloodlines got more augmentation than others, and that those bloodlines get surveilled their entire lives by the world's intelligence communities. Wow. I mean, maybe disclosure really is on the calendar. I don't know. This is a high-ranking CIA officer who knows Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon. The amount of info he gives up on the human hybrid program... And I say that knowing a lot of shit. If you want to watch the whole interview, go to YouTube, Unidentified Celebrity Review, and look up John Ramirez. Now, why? At the end of this particular video, would I remind you to start meditating and developing the powers of your mind? Because that's exactly what I'm telling you to do. Why would I mention that here? Might there be some kind of connection here? You have seen the recent videos I've done where science has proved conclusively that your consciousness reaches out beyond your body, right? That's beyond Six Sigma science, surpassing the minimum requirement that science considers something conclusive evidence. You should probably learn to speak the language of tomorrow. Stay
It's interesting. I kind of have some stuff on that too. I don't know what to do next. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got stuff on some consciousness and the reality manifestation type stuff. Well, like what he's talking about, meditation.
Well, I guess what we should say is that it's going to be to start the second half of show.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the regular show. Of course, it's doing it on the regular channel because it was some pretty light content this time around, but it is for Grimerica Outlawed, which of course we don't stream the second half of. It will be out in podcast form soon. And if you want to get the second half of that, you go to GrimericaOutlawed.ca today. Sign up for the monthly there at $6 a month. It really helps us out. You get a bunch of extra content, second half of all the episodes, extensions to all the roundups, literally hundreds of hours. Stuff, and you help support us, and we're hoping to double our plus members this year. So start today. A few years, go sign up. Happy New Year. We love you. Of course, check out contactthecabin.com, Grimerica CBD, like we talked about before, Outbrain, and Grimerica.ca for the other podcast. Happy New Year, guys. We love you. Heading to second half of show. Graham, start us off.
Okay, we're going to talk about micro robots. And then I'm going to get into
it should just be microbots
and microbots. And scientists discovered how to manipulate reality, and he vanished after 12 hours later. He vanished.
He manipulated himself right
Yeah.
out of it.
Oh, and then the ontology. Did you know that all the 3 buildings got struck on lightning on New Year's Eve? I mean, that is pretty crazy too.
Which ones?
The Empire State Building, the Capitol Building, and